All right. Really good day today from our players. They came out here and they competed really hard. I thought yesterday wasn't as good of a practice. We challenged them coming in, and they really brought it today. So third down, red area again today. Good compete across the board. Looking to get better and excited for this weekend.
The no music at practice, part of the drilling home is to bring your own energy kind of deal?
Yeah, we're just recognizing this environment's going to be a little bit different. We need to change the environment a little bit at practice.
Get an explanation from the Pac-12 on the hits on Bucky?
I haven't seen him yet, no.
You talked earlier this week about wanting to learn to win on the road. What does that specifically look like for you? Are there things that you guys did at Texas Tech that you didn't like that you're trying to change specifically?
You know, I thought Jalen Hurts said it perfect the other day when he was talking about, 1A and 1B. 1A, win, right? 1B, play to the standard. If you do either one, right, without the other, you're going to feel unfulfilled, right? And that's really what it's about for us is making sure we hit 1A and 1B. We want to play to the standard, and we want to win the game, right? But win the game most importantly. We were able to do that at Tech, but we didn't feel like we played to the standard, right? And that's what we want to make sure we bring this week.
Some of the younger running backs kind of stepped up and shown something in practice so that they are ready.
Yeah, we've got plenty of guys back there that can tote the rock and are ready to go, but it's not just toting the rock. It's how they do in protections. It's what they do from a route standpoint. But we have the guys there that can do a good job. And like I said before, you're not going to fill a Noah Whittington shoes. Like what that guy's done for our team, you can't fulfill that. But we do have good players on our team that can help us there.
You kind of hit on two of the traits there. He was more or less like the third down back at times, particularly in the passing game. Just are there certain aspects of his game that make it hard to either just replicate or know for sure that you have a guy that can replicate until they do it?
We have talent on our team that can replace some of those things that he does, right? But you're not going to replace him, right? And he wasn't just a third down back. He was in everything for us. He did it all. And we were fortunate to have the best running back group, in my opinion, in this conference. So I think we still do. I think we still have dynamic pieces there. And there's some guys that you probably haven't seen that I think can do big things.
At the end.
Have you guys established a travel roster yet?
We have.
Has the energy of the D-line been any different this week after such a breakout performance against Colorado?
I think anytime you have a performance where you perform well, I think that builds confidence, right? And then you get to build off of that, But we're not playing last week again. We're playing next week, right? So it's about what you do now. I thought the guys, like I said, today was a great practice. Yesterday wasn't, right? And I told our guys that. So they really attacked it today. They got after today, but it's going to be about what we do on Saturday and up until Saturday.
Stephen Jones pulled a lot last week and seemed to be pretty effective in the run game when he was. He certainly wasn't the only guy who did, but what makes him at his size that effective as a guard to pull? It's not revolutionary, but he was pulling outside really effective. What do you see from him in that capacity?
Yeah, I told Stephen after the game that was his best game he's had since he's been a Duck in my time here, and I was really impressed. There was a couple guys that had some of their best games in that game, but when he plays like his size, he can be really, really special. And I thought he played like his size on Saturday.
Who were some of those other guys?
There's a few guys that really stood out. I'm beyond Steven. There's a couple guys that had their best game. I can't name them off the top of my head right now.
So far this year, Bo, small sample size, but Bo's been running a little bit less than he was at this point last year. Is that kind of just the flow of the game, or is there a concerted effort to kind of keep him out of harm's way a little bit this year?
Just a combination of us realizing playing into our strengths. If we need to run Bo, we run Bo, and Bo would be excited about that. But it's really more about playing what we need to do to win the game.
You spoke earlier about how selfless the tight end unit has been. Can you speak to Casey in particular and what you've seen from him and getting in the end zone for the first time on Saturday?
Yeah, I've been really impressed with how smart Casey is. He comes in here and he learned the system really well. He's able to execute at a high level. You got a bunch of tight ends in that room that do a really good job and can play at a high level for us, and he's certainly been one of them.
How would you describe Will's use of 12 and 13 personnel, not just inherently in the run game either, but how would you describe it, and how is it maybe different than what Kenny did with 12 and 13?
A lot of similarities, really, to be honest. It's more about how does the opponent match us. If they're going to stay small when we go 12, then we're going to get big and run the ball. If they're going to get big, then we're going to go ahead and spread them out and see if they can cover us, right? Because that means they have a extra outside linebacker on the field. So it's really about how their personnel matches us and how we feel like our personnel matches up against them.
Troy talked about your team's ability to get up big in the first quarter and how that's forced teams to get away from their game plan. What's made the first quarter success offensively and defensively just so good for you?
Combination of players knowing exactly what we're going to be running, right? Exactly what we're going to accomplish. So I think that goes back to what you script in practice and painting a really clear picture for your players early in games, and then also just execution, right, of that same plan.
What makes it?
Bucky got asked yesterday about kind of getting credit, and he said he doesn't have to touch the ball at all. Everybody on the team can get talked about as long as Oregon wins. Can you kind of just talk about his mentality and how important that's been to that running back group?
Yeah, selfless, right? Bucky's a selfless player. He's obviously a dynamic player, right? And when he's on the field, we're a really good team, right? And what I love about Bucky is he doesn't care who gets the credit. That's a great example of that kind of player on our team.
Is Bailey 23? What does he bring to them from that edge position?
Yeah, we think he's one of their best pass rushers. I mean, he's got juice, and it really shows up in the pass game. So he's somebody we got to be aware of where he's at all times.
Once just
Tuioti, obviously he got his first sack on Saturday. Just what have you seen from those two freshman pass rushers?
Yeah, we have some pass rush ability with these guys that we've brought in, and they're both two guys that are embracing roles that they've gotten and utilizing that time when they're on the field.
once Justin can go, whether it's this week or after the bye, just what do you expect from him? What do you think he'll be able to offer to you when he's coming back from injury and has missed this much time at this point?
Yeah, he's a great player, and I think as he gets more and more comfortable, obviously we're always going to be precautionary for him, but as he gets more and more comfortable, we're excited to see what he can do for us out there.